Hello, hello. Welcome to the L.A.M.E Book Club podcast, spooky special edition. My name is Melissa, and this is Ellie.
Hey.
If you're just listening, let me explain. If you're watching, you'll get it. But we decided to dress up today for our Halloween episode, but I did not tell Ellie what my costume was, and I wanted to get her live reaction, so that's why she's covering her face. So, Ellie,
Without
are you
further
ready?
ado, yes. Ready?
Go.
Hold
Do
on.
you know what I am?
No!
I speak for the trees.
Oh my god.
It looks a lot crustier than I was hoping it would look like.
What the heck? Dude, you look like an old man carrot.
That's what the Lorax looks like. The colors also didn't match as much as I had hoped, but...
Wait. Okay, hold on. What? I'm dead. Oh my gosh. The full dedication. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so this podcast is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to take over most of it. What I have done is gone through several Grimm Brothers stories. I'll give you a little background on them, and I'm going to summarize what I have taken away from these stories to Melissa and get her live reactions. So you're all in.
I haven't heard any of these stories or Ellie's thoughts on them at all, so you'll get raw and real Melissa.
Okay. So, opening question. What has been your most iconic Halloween costume through the years?
Not gonna lie.
It could be this one.
Gosh, I'm trying to think.
This one? Okay. Lorax honestly probably would have been one of my last guesses. The orange takes me there, but to me, you look like a Muppet. Yeah.
Like honestly, it really didn't come together as much as I wanted it to.
Like the ones in the theater, like the old men that sit up at the top, those Muppets.
Oh yes, I know you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I mean, they're kind of even yellowy skin tone wise.
I think so. I can't remember them too well, but
maybe not.
I feel like it's you. So
the eyebrows and the mustache are. It's like I don't remember exactly what it was called on Amazon, but it was like man something. They're not as yellow as they should be, but oh well.
I love this look for you. This is you should keep this.
So yeah, either this one or honestly, I was Mulan for 3 years in a row growing up. I love Mulan.
Right on.
But I think the part that makes it iconic was the fact that I was like 7, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might have been 8, and it was around Halloween time, and we had my first sleepover. Like, it was my first sleepover ever. I had my best friend come over, and my mom took us to Disney on Ice, and I was just kind of like a tomboy growing up. Like, I don't know. I didn't like to dress up that much, but I had this Mulan costume, and I was excited. I was excited about Disney on Ice. So there's hundreds of little girls dressed up like Cinderella and Belle, and my friend wore Sleeping Beauty, like whatever, but I was the only Mulan there at Disney on Ice.
I love that.
Yeah.
I don't think I've specifically had any super iconic costumes. I play it safe, and more than that, I play it cheap. So I'm like, this is honestly probably the most money I've ever spent on a costume. And I don't know what about 2023 made me be like, this is the year I'm going to spend $30 on a costume.
Wow. But really went all out. Yeah. I feel like you're good at being really resourceful though. And like thinking of, cheap ways to do things that don't look cheap.
Yeah. Not my Halloween costumes. Once I was a unicorn and I made the horn out of construction paper that I found like in the garbage. It wasn't even, I didn't even buy the construction paper.
Let me compliment you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Grant's costumes though are pretty terrible, but like in a really funny way if you're edgy enough to take a joke.
Gotcha.
Yeah, One year he was the pilot that got, not pilot, the surgeon that got pulled off the plane. Remember hearing that in the news?
No way.
Yes
But like,
way. And another year he was like, oh, we could play off the fact that I'm Asian and he's white. So he's like, we'll be Pam and Asian Jim. I would be Asian Jim and he would be Pam.
that's awesome.
He's a lot. Okay. So back to books. Have you ever read any scary books?
This, I don't even know if this is scary. The like most suspenseful, like scary quote unquote book I've ever read was The Outsiders by Stephen King. It really wasn't.
Okay.
I'm really not a spooky person.
Yeah.
Halloween is, I don't thrive like a lot of people do during Halloween. I thrive starting November 1st when it's Christmas season. So that's when
All right.
I peak.
You can do a Christmas special for us then, because
There we
Halloween is my jam. Every single weekend we have spent it watching Halloween movies of any sort, from like straight up The Conjuring to Disney's Haunted Mansion, all over the place. We love spooky things. But I recently watched The Fall of the House of Usher.
Ooh. Okay, that's not scary though. That's like suspense, right?
No, it is scary.
Oh, good to know. But my husband Zeke loves scary stuff. Like this is his favorite time of the year. And
yeah. Mine as well.
And I've been forced to watch a few. No, I've agreed. But like, yeah, he's been requesting a lot this month.
I see.
To watch scary movies.
I have always been a spooky little thing because my favorite book in first grade, and I remember this clear as day. I don't remember the title of the book, but it was about a girl who basically died, but nobody knew that she was dead, and she put a ribbon around her neck, and every day, like, so I think people would ask, oh, why do you have a ribbon? She's like, I just like it. And she ends up growing up, getting married, and becoming an older lady. And one day, like, her husband or whoever said, you know, why do you always wear a ribbon? And she said, here, you can untie it. And for the first time ever, someone untied her ribbon and her head freaking fell off. I checked that book out of a first grade library every single week. Renewed by Ellie every week. I loved it. I don't know why. It was
she able to, okay, here's what doesn't make sense. How did she age if she was dead? Also, did she have kids? Because how did that happen?
I don't know, and I don't know.
So
I'll find the name of the book.
Any of this in the
later. Book? Perhaps not. It was a kid's book, so I don't know. They just skipped
over a lot.
That was
a children's book?
Yeah, and if you have questions that are unanswered and you don't like it, get used to it, because a lot of these grim stories, I was like, what the heck? I have a lot of questions.
Email the author. I have questions.
Okay. And my last question is, what level of scary movie watcher are you? Like, are you a mild, or are you medium, or heavy?
If we're talking in salsa terms, I'm a Pico watcher.
Good to know.
I just got orange on my mic. Sorry. What are you in salsa terms?
I'd say like a Chipotle Verde. Like, I used to be pretty hardcore. Spicy. No, I used to be more hardcore, and now I feel like Grant's milded me out. Like, he doesn't watch any scary movies or any scary things, so then I don't anymore. And now it's like, you know, when you don't eat something spicy for a while and you can start tasting black pepper when it's added. Now I'm like, oh, that's a little scary. I don't know if I want to watch this.
Absolutely. So. I feel like I've done that. Well, I haven't done that to Zeke because he can still handle it. He just doesn't watch as many as he'd like because I don't want to watch them.
Well, all right. Here we go. So I'm going to give you an intro to the Grimm brothers. We're going to start with, their names were Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm. They were two librarians from Germany that spent their lives collecting folklore and fairy tales. Ooh. So I might be wrong, but based on the study I did about them, I don't think they were authors. They were just collectors.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so they went all over the world to talk to people about the folklore stories that they know. People from peasants to upper class contributed their stories. Many of them told them just orally, so they jotted everything down. Their first collection was revised and republished between 1812 and 1857, in which time it grew from 86 stories to more than 200.
Wait. So let me summarize this. They collected stories themselves, then they would travel and tell the stories. And as they were traveling, people would tell them stories, and then they would add it to their collection and continue to tell them.
No, don't know how you got there.
They I'm glad I asked.
Just went around the world to get more stories for their collection. I'm sure they
just went around asking for stories.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I'm like picturing almost like a circus. Like people would gather, and well, obviously it's not a circus, but like people would come listen to the stories that they had shared, and then there'd be like, in modern day terms or whatever, like an ask a question box, and people would submit their own stories.
I see. Could have been, but I don't think so. I think they just were like, hey, what are your stories? And so everybody was contributing stories, which I think is really neat, because you didn't have just like the well-known ones. You had, peasants coming in and saying like, I know a few. So I think it's pretty cool. Many of those folktales were adapted into movies by popular filmmakers, such as our favorite, Walt Disney.
No way. Which ones were theirs?
Snow White and I believe Cinderella.
Mm-hmm. I do know that the original fairy tales of those stories are significantly darker than the Disney movies.
Yes. For example, Cinderella, you know how the stepsisters, like in the movies, just try to shove their foot into the little glass slipper, but they can't?
Yeah.
In the book, they freaking cut off their toes and shave off their heels to get their feet to fit into that slipper. It's a desperate move.
That is so desperate. Let's say it worked. What are they going to do then? Just like have stubs but be with Prince Charming?
Yeah,
I guess
but like
Prince Charming in the original story.
If you lived like a mid to low lifestyle and you had the opportunity to become actual royalty, and you had evil in your heart, wouldn't you consider cutting off your toes to
truthfully
be a princess? Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't like, I'm too much of a wimp.
If it was a sure thing, for me, I'd do it.
I probably would, but I'd have a really hard time coming to terms with my toes being chopped off.
Well, you'd have to probably learn to rewalk, because I think your toes add a lot to your balance.
I changed my answer. I wouldn't, honestly.
Really?
Give me soup and dirt. But keep my toes.
I don't think they were that lowly, the stepsisters, but
I'd still
all right.
take it.
You get soup and dirt and your toes. Enjoy.
And fully formed feet. I will be happy.
All right. So, presenting the Fitcher's bird. Are you ready?
Oh, yes.
All right. There once was a sorcerer who disguised himself as a beggar and went door to door begging. If he crossed paths with any beautiful girls as he was going door to door, he captured them. And nobody knew why.
I was going to say, this is like reverse Beauty and the Beast. But then that's not.
No,
never mind.
There are a lot of similarities to Beauty and the Beast in this story.
Did Walt Disney get Beauty and the Beast from this story?
I could not tell you. Perhaps not. I think themes were taken, if not the full story. I don't know. Okay. Nobody knew why he was doing this or where he took them. But he, when he was begging, came to a house where 3 sisters lived. He begged for food, and the oldest sister gave him bread. He touched the hand of the oldest sister, and that touch forced her body to jump into his knapsack. Large knapsack, if you ask me. He took her back to his home, which was elaborate with gold and silver. So he's a rich sorcerer.
So this is like a Feyre kidnapping.
Yes, kind of.
Taken from a life of a mediocre life and then put in a mansion.
Yes. So a few days later, the sorcerer so this sister, again, was the oldest one. He told the oldest sister that he needed to go out. He gave her keys to the house and an egg. He said to take care of the egg, and she is allowed to explore any bit of the house except for one room, which again, that Beauty and the Beast parallel of stay out of the
I wonder
East Wing, West Wing.
Beauty and the Beast has a lot of similar themes with the first of Court of
Akatar.
Thorns and Roses. So Sarah J. Maas is probably pulling from
So
this
it
too.
all pulls back to here. Okay. Also, here's my first question was, did she not have any problems living here? It seemed like she could easily leave. If he was like, hey, I'm going to head out for a week or so. Here's my egg.
She probably
could just go.
I know the few sentences that you've given me. I don't know anything more about the story, but my guess is if she was conjured but with magic to willingly go in the knapsack, she couldn't see where he was taking her. So she probably didn't know how to leave.
Oh, you're not wrong, because more of the story points to that theory, actually.
Look at
Okay.
me.
Look at
Melissa,
you.
the
Orange,
profiler.
and you know it all. Okay. So as he left, the girl started to explore the home and ended up going into the room that was forbidden, of course.
Naturally.
Do you want to take a guess at what she found in that room?
Ooh, yes. I'm going to guess that she found lots of eggs.
Lots of eggs?
Yes.
Okay, final answer?
Well, and bodies.
Body. Okay. Ooh, so close. No eggs, but she found cut up body parts and blood all over the room with a large bloody basin in the middle. There was also a chopping block.
So that's why I was trying to think of something different.
There was also a chopping block and an axe. So,
all right.
A little variation there. She was so startled that she dropped the egg inside of the bloody basin, and it got blood all over it. She tried to wipe the blood off of the egg, but it kept reappearing. So
a magic egg.
Magic blood. The sorcerer came home and saw that there was blood on the egg, inevitably. He told her, "You went into that chamber against my will, and now against your will you shall enter it again. Your life is finished." He threw her into the room on the chopping block and cut off her head. Then he cut the rest of her body into small pieces.
And then she tied lots of ribbons around her body, and then she turned into that girl from the first story.
Not quite. She was dead. Real dead. The sorcerer then was like, well, then I'm going back for the second sister since this did not work out as I planned. So went back to the second sister, same exact pattern, grabbed her, took her back to his house, said, I'm going to leave. Here's an egg. And here's...
I want to know why the second sister fell for it this time after seeing what happened to the first.
Amen. I have no idea. Lots of questions out of this story. So he gave her the egg, said the same exact thing.
I think if the second sister was dumb enough to do that, she's absolutely going to go in that room.
Well, you're not wrong, because she did. And it was the exact same outcome. Dropped the egg into the basin, blood all over it. Sorcerer came back and was like, again, you messed up. Took her to that room, cut off her head, and cut her all into pieces. Yeah, it's exactly it. So then the sorcerer went back to the home and tried again with the third sister. Luckily, this sister was sly and clever. She left the egg in the room, like at the ground, before she started exploring. So,
well, no, she's not that sly and clever if she still went with him.
That's true. And she also still went exploring. Literally, the only difference is she left the egg first before she continued on.
How much do you want to bet she just forgot the egg at this rate?
She opens up the door and found her sister's mutilated bodies. She puts their pieces back together, like as close as she can.
With ribbons.
No. And when there was no more pieces left to put back together, the body parts, in my mind, I'm seeing this as like an animated thing, started moving and joined back together. Miraculously, both sisters were not reincarnated, but resurrected.
There you go.
So, as they came back to life,
eggs?
The eggs are gone. But out of all the objects he could have given them to be like, hey, don't lose this, or what? Why
I feel
eggs?
like this is just has something to do with like whatever era it was written. You know,
sure,
like
maybe.
Today's day and age, it'd be like, here's this iPhone, don't go on the internet.
Do you think iPhones compared to eggs back then?
I don't. Oh, well, obviously it's not a source of entertainment, but it's like I don't know.
Yeah.
Fine.
I don't know.
Today, here's Chipotle. Take this with you and watch it.
Don't drop this Chipotle.
Don't
Keep
drop
it
it.
safe.
I don't want to see one grain of rice out of that bowl.
Okay. So, the sisters hatched a plan together. The sorcerer came home and saw that the youngest sister had passed the test. So he said immediately, "We're getting married. You know how to follow
Oh my
orders."
gosh.
Oh yeah, it's very quick. And I will do anything that you want. So the youngest sister told him to take a large pack of gold to her parents' home. In that pack of gold, she stashed her 2 other sisters in there so that kind of he would take them home. So
we're talking like a big multiple
it's a
sacks
large
of gold if her
knapsack.
sisters fit in there.
So yes. So he starts on his way back home and he's like, "Man, this is heavy." I don't know why this part is in the story other than just the fact to keep it moving. I don't know. But he says, "Oh, this knapsack is so heavy." He starts to sit down because he's sweating like crazy. And one of the sisters from the knapsack calls out and is like, "I see you from the window. Stop resting." And so he gets back up.
Wait. There's windows in the knapsack?
No, he thinks it's the youngest sister back at the house calling after him, saying like, "I'm seeing you resting. Get up. Keep going." Does that make sense?
Why in the world? Oh my gosh, these sisters are so dumb. He's supposed to be secretly transporting them back. They see him sit down and they're like, this is a good opportunity to make fun of him. Hey, fatty, get up. Don't sit. And ignore the voice coming out of this bag.
It's not their wisest move, but they kept doing it.
He must have gotten tired quick if he was still within eye shot of the window in his house.
Yes. So he kept doing it like 2 or 3 times, and they kept being like, "Get up, stop resting." I don't know. So they end up making it back to the home, and then they called for help. In the meantime, the youngest sister here's where it really gets like chuntsy. The youngest sister covers herself in honey, rolls around in feathers from the mattress, and walks right out the front door. The groom...
Wait, keep going.
Okay, the groom walks past her as he's on his way.
The groom meaning the sorcerer guy.
The sorcerer, yes. And says, "Fitcher's bird, where are you coming from?" She says, "I'm coming from Fitcher's house," and kept walking. So then the sorcerer groom and his wedding guests all go inside of the house, and the sisters' brothers arrive to help. They closed all of the doors and set the house on fire as everybody burned inside. The end.
So there's so much to unpack here.
There sure is.
The fact that she's not shaped like a bird. Let's start there.
Yeah.
The fact that he said, "Hey, who are you?" And she goes, "See here." I picture her talking like an old, like, 50s baseball announcer. "Say here, I'm Fitcher's bird." What about you? And he just like rolls with it. Like, oh yeah, Fitcher's bird. I know you.
Fitcher's bird.
You know what? I bet he was embarrassed. You know when you get you're talking to someone and they know who you are, so you feel like you should know who they are.
Them.
You're like,
yeah.
You're like, "It's me, Abby." Like,
yeah.
Abby, hi. He assumed he knew Fitcher's bird. You know, it's me, Fitcher's bird, coming from ye old Fitcher's house.
And he was like, yeah. And then got burned alive for that mistake.
If the bird was coming from Fitcher's house, why was it also leaving his house?
So I thought,
they probably met in passing, like on the road.
Yeah, it was in passing. But
in my head, I pictured it like right outside the front door.
Who's Fitcher? Like, is that an occupation? Like, the Whittler's house? Or are you looking it up?
Let me look it up because I've never heard of this. So I don't know if it's like a common. No, the first thing that comes up is the Grimm's story.
It's the guy. Okay, well, I don't know.
It's just it's a German. I mean, maybe it's more well known back in whenever in Germany.
Yeah,
maybe it was like a thing.
And maybe eggs were a lot more popular back in Germany in the early 1800s.
Eggs were where it was at.
Okay. So what is your main takeaway from this story?
They're all so stupid. All of them.
That's fair. All of them,
The
including the
youngest sister
sorcerer.
is the smartest out of everyone.
And her grand escape was to dress up tar and feathered, basically,
Not even
and
honey
walk
and
out.
feathered.
Okay. Your overall rating on this story on a spooky scale.
Oh, on a spooky scale, this is like a 1. That's not scary.
Well,
The scariest thing is that these girls listened to a guy and got in the sack. Like,
I know. Oh, speaking of,
I guess he did
might save your life. So I heard this lady say, so you know how if you're walking alone at night, how a lot of girls say like, oh, like act crazy if you think you're being followed, like start acting crazy. Well, then a lot of people fight that and they're like, no, because people might think you're just drunk and that makes you a bigger target. Yeah. So this lady says instead of acting crazy, she's like 9 times out of 10, if you look up a mugshot that's like for someone that's super just kind of out of their mind, their eyelids are pulled back and that they're like this. So she's like, pull your eyelids back every single time. I don't know if I'd risk my life doing that, but.
Well, I could hurt your eyes, I guess. But hey, listen to the L.A.M.E book club podcast where you hear about books, scary stories, and how to stay alive.
Stay fit, stay alive. All right.
Not me, not today.
Yeah. Shout out to one of my favorite podcasts, The Wife of Crime.
Yes, agreed.
All right. You ready for the next story?
I am ready.
Okay. Presenting the Robber Bridegroom. This, out of all 3, is my least favorite, but still interesting. It's very interesting to see kind of how dark and twisty like fairy tales were back then. But I don't know if they're fairy tales for kids or if they're fairy tales just to be an interesting short story, you know?
I don't know. Because like things are taken in different contexts nowadays. Like when you say fairy tale now, like it implies a children's story. But I don't even know, were these even like, did the term fairy tale, was that, I don't even know if that was like the actual, you know what I mean?
No,
that's just
it was like a folklore.
Yeah,
it's folklore tale.
Yeah, so I don't, all this to say, I don't know, honestly.
All right, well, here we go. There once was a miller who had a pretty daughter and was very eager to marry her off to a handsome man. Literally.
A miller is like someone who like milled like corn, right?
I'm in between. He's someone that works with wood and someone that makes bread. I'll find out.
I think it's probably the latter.
I typed miller occupation. Someone who operates a mill, a machine to grind grain. For example, corn or wheat. Good job.
Look at me. All right, thanks.
Look at you knowing things.
I'm trying to set the scene in my mind.
Perfect. One day, a man did come around. He was rich and handsome, and the father, the miller, was more than willing to give his daughter away. The only criteria was that he needed to be rich and handsome. The maiden did not love the man. Yes. The maiden did
bad, honestly. Like,
yes.
Red flags.
Yes. The maiden did not love the man and soon began to feel a kind of, and I quote, inward shuddering when she saw him. AKA.
Okay, can we pause this? I want to talk about just really quickly all of the words that are used in like these stories and like fantasy books that I have a really hard time wrapping my mind around. Shuddering is I can picture it, but when it says and they shuddered, I literally picture someone like very like, violently shaking.
Yeah.
And like not subtly at all. And like same thing with like and he growled as he spoke. Like
that was the one I was going to bring up. That's a hard one for me to be like, hello.
I was just going to say, not my wife. I don't know. I understand what they're trying to get across, but I have a really hard time in my mind.
It's so much funnier because you're orange.
I probably look like the sorcerer from the first story when he was begging for bread.
For all these like really icky men we read about today, just picture them as Melissa's current state.
No, I look like someone that would snatch someone in the middle of the night on the street. Do your crazy eyes to get me away. Show me them eyelids, baby.
Oh my stomach hurts. Okay. I'm sweating.
Sorry.
This rain jacket, $12 on Amazon, but it retains every bit of moisture in this entire city. It is so dewy in here. It's
bet.
outrageous. Okay. So, again, the guy gave her a quote, inward shuddering, which basically just means he gave her the ick.
Ugh,
There's no other way to put that. The man invited the maiden to his home in the woods. She was like, no, I don't want to go. And he was like, just come. And she said, no, I don't want to go. He countered every single argument she had. And she's like, but I'll get lost. He said, I'll line the way to my house with ashes. So she had no other
red flag. No. I know I give you the ick, but it's fine. Follow the dead flakes of dead body to my home. You won't get lost.
I'm picturing that coming from someone that looks like you at the moment. And that's so scary. Okay. If you're not watching this podcast, this is the only one you need to absolutely be watching. I can't take it. Okay. The man, he invited her to the woods, line the house with ash, or like line the road with ashes. So the maiden had no other excuses. She agrees to go. She felt very troubled about it, though, so she packed peas and beans in her pockets.
My comfort foods are also peas and beans.
And she used those to line her trail to his home with them as she followed the ashes. So when she followed, she was like throwing out the peas, kind of like Hansel and Gretel style. Yeah. Which Hansel and Gretel is one of the most popular Grimm Brothers stories. So just a common theme,
that one. I mean, truthfully, even the quote unquote Disney version of it is still creepy as heck. As I know the original one's even worse.
Yeah. Yes, it is. So when she got to the house in the middle of the dark woods, she didn't see anybody inside, but she heard a bird say, "Turn away, bonny bride, turn away home. Haste from the robber's den, haste away home." Instead of
that sounds like something I would hear in Outlander. Turn away, bonny bride.
Yeah. Very true. Instead of heeding the warning, she let herself into the home and wandered room by room. Because that's what you would do in the dark in a house that you are not familiar with from a man who creeped you out. All rooms were vacant except one. The maiden met an old lady sitting all alone. The old lady told her
immediately no.
The old lady told her that the robbers will soon return and kill her, like kill the girl, not the old lady.
Yeah, I figured.
She said she'll hide her, and once the robbers leave, they can escape together. The maiden was hidden.
I wouldn't trust her. Why wouldn't they get you? Why are they here to get me?
I don't know.
I'm calling it right now. She's the master. She's the robber. She's the mastermind behind all this.
All right, we'll find out. Keep reading.
Go.
The maiden.
Hey, make haste, bunny bride. Make haste.
The maiden was hidden in a cask, and the robbers immediately returned. Do you know what a cask is? Because I didn't, and I had to look it up, and now I do. No, a cask.
No, like a cat, like a. No, I think I might, but I don't. Not really.
It's those barrels that they keep like
like wine,
liquor. Yeah, wine. Yeah, all that. Yeah. Okay. The maiden. So she was hiding in there. The maiden watched the fate that was intended for her as the robbers came home with another girl who they filled with drink, cut into pieces, then cooked her and ate her.
Two things before we keep
please.
Going. One, what the heck? I guess we still have these problems on this. If you're not watching, not sure what I did, but I summoned balloons on the screen.
On the screen.
Anyways, two things. I almost started laughing out loud when you said filled her with drink. But that's a me problem. That's not a you problem. Also, were they just not did they just come home and forget that they had another girl stashed and just were like, let's just do this, get over it, get this over with a new one? Why weren't they immediately hey, where's that other girl we left here?
They didn't leave anybody there.
Yeah, the first girl, the one that the old lady was hiding in the cast.
No, remember she just came into the house on her own. They forgot that they invited her, but they never let her into the house. Remember, she just went in. Yeah.
Yep, you're right.
We need to make also another small pause. You got little Cheeto fingers because of your face paint?
I know. There's nothing I can do about it.
Okay. So, okay, they cooked that gal and ate her. One of the robbers wanted the small golden ring off of the dead girl's body, but he had trouble pulling it off, so he hacked off her finger. But
I
he
mean,
hacked
at
it
this
off.
point, they already cut her up and ate her, so I'm
I
not
know. I
grossed
know.
out.
We're not that surprised, I guess. He cut off the finger, but the finger flew up into the air and ended up in the cask on the maiden's lap. The robber, who was the betrothed of the maiden, went looking for the ring. But the old woman said, "The ring will be there tomorrow. Let's eat tonight and look later." Meaning, I think the woman was eating the girl as well. Like they just
Oh, you
all,
I mean, at the very least, she was participating in watching.
yeah, which is not see something, say something, you know.
Yeah, honestly.
The old woman and the
Say something.
maiden escaped in the middle of the night, and the maiden followed her peas and beans all the way home. So
I
smart on
wanna know
her.
what this old lady I mean, I guess I was wrong about why the old lady was there, but
Yeah. I don't know why she was there. I'm literally telling you the story as I read it.
no, I
I
mean,
had
I
a
know.
lot of
I know.
questions. The day that Maiden's wedding came, but before the wedding, the bride wanted to share a story with her bridegroom. So she still, like, she went home. I think she told her dad. The dad did nothing and was like, "Congrats on your wedding." And
It's fine
so,
because he gave me a large bounty for you, so
exactly, a lot of cows. Um, so the
many a goat.
bride at the wedding was like, "Hey, I want to share a story with you, my dear love." The story she told was a recounting of the evening that she experienced where she witnessed the murder of that other woman. And as evidence to that, she pulls out the finger with the ring on it. The groom was then held down by the party guests and executed.
I
The
like how
end.
that's where the line was drawn.
Yeah.
Like, oh no. I mean, I guess if he was doing it in secret, no one in the public knew. So, never
Yeah.
mind.
Uh, there's just a lot to that I'm like, but what about. So, I don't know.
Man, I mean, at least he got his just desserts at the end.
Sure did.
And then she had a nice meal of peas and beans.
Overall, what is your rating on that story for the spooky scale?
A little bit on a scale of 1 to 10.
Do
Here,
1 to
I'm gonna
5.
give this one like a 3.5, and here's why. It's
Out
a
of
little
5
bit
or out of
creepier.
10?
Out of 10.
Oh, okay.
Because this one is like more realistic.
Mhm.
Not super realistic, but like more realistic than the first one.
You're
Like,
saying you
there's
would
no
not
magic
cover
sorcerer
yourself?
that's gonna like force me to get into a bag or like a trunk or you know what I mean? But like there are people that do some sketchy stuff and there's
Yeah.
Hannibal Lecters out there, you know what I mean? Like there's no one's coming back to life in this story. So this
Yeah.
one's just a little bit there's greedy fathers. Like all elements of this are all real.
Okay. So this
Um
could happen to you, and that's why you're more
it
spooked by
would
this.
not happen to me, but here's why it wouldn't happen to me.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to give everyone, if I gave someone that many excuses and they had answers for all of them, that is my new excuse as to why I'm not going with them. And I
Amen. That's
I don't
so
really
good.
feel like it. So I wouldn't have gone in the first place, but at least
I
she
mean,
was
honestly,
safe at stay
like
alive.
the only excuse I don't know. I wouldn't have even entertained the idea of going even if I wanted to go. I could have been like, yeah, and then sent a text later on and been like, "Hey, actually, I'm not feeling super good," because
I'm
that's my excuse to just stay home and
I'm
read.
sick.
And exactly. It's the idea of going out in general is the reason that would never happen to me ever.
It's like the reel that we just posted this week. Oh, oh no, I'm
Yeah.
devastated. And then just
Exactly.
stay home and read.
Exactly.
Truthfully, that's like reason number 2 why this would never happen to me.
Um so okay, compared to the last story, how do you feel? Like better or worse in general?
I'm feeling better. I mean, I like that one more. That one was
Okay.
more entertaining to me. I
So
just can't
this,
honestly, like, I just can't get over the peas and beans were like her comfort food.
I know. Whatever.
I mean, like they were easy to travel with and easy to like make a trail. So I guess I get it.
But like
But
Hansel and Gretel did the same thing, but they used bread, which I feel like to me it's like that makes all the sense in the world. But like peas and beans.
yeah, I
Mm.
don't know. Location, Ellie.
All right.
Like if this were me, if this just says more about who I am as a person.
Uh-huh.
If this were me, I'm thinking of what I have in my pantry right now that I'd be able to use for this. Like I'd probably use Mott's fruit snacks or
Oh.
beef jerky because I have a lot of that too.
What would be mine? I haven't grocery shopped for like 2 weeks, so not my best week to think about this. But I have a lot of rice and I also have ramen packs. So
Fried ramen and rice.
probably that.
I just need to like make a note of this. You call me out for talking about rice all the time with you, but you bring it up more than I do. And
That's
you
my
admit
life, Melissa.
Yeah.
Rice is my life.
Rice is my life.
This is just who I am.
You can't call me racist then when I say rice makes me think
I
of
also
you.
have a bunch of like packets of broth, but I'm not going to leave those out on my trail.
That wouldn't help you. I'm gonna miss this dust and help it. It's gonna help me find my way back home, Mama.
No, wait, packets was not the right word. I meant cartons of broth.
Oh,
So they would just
yeah,
be the
okay,
boxes
liquid also won't help
thrown
you.
out.
I'm gonna use chicken broth to help me find my way home. You just
Follow
leave
the
like the
trail.
actual carton like every like 10 feet.
Yeah. Oh, I also have a lot of banana peppers because I was growing them. I don't know what compelled me to be like this season I'm going to grow freaking 6 banana pepper plants. I don't ever eat banana peppers. So I just
But
keep
you got
picking.
them.
Okay, but here's the thing too. I can't eat these. I've never in my life eaten such a spicy pepper,
No
and they're
way.
not supposed to be spicy. So I looked it up
These are like
online.
pepperoncinis, right?
Yeah. Like the ones you get at Subway on your Sammys.
Weak
They're
sauce,
so
Ellie.
spicy.
Weak sauce.
No.
I don't
I
even
know.
like spicy food that much, but I know I could eat a pepperoni.
Okay, I'm bringing one to you next week and you'll try it on the pod and we'll have to pause the whole thing because you're going to have to
You know
go.
what? Well, you're not going to be here next week, so I will be doing just fine. It's 2 weeks.
All right, 2 weeks from now. Okay, coming back to this. Presenting the Juniper Tree. Are you ready?
Ooh, I like this one better already just because of the name.
It is my favorite of all 3. It actually is my favorite Brothers Grimm story that I've read so far to this date. So I hope you like it. Okay. There was once a beautiful lady married to a rich man. I like how they always have to like add those in. Like, was she beautiful or was she ugly? And was he poor or rich? Every
Well, I
single
feel like
story,
that
they're
makes a
like,
difference. I mean, like at least in the last one, it adds to it because like it shows that the dad only cared about like looks and status and everything, and not
sure.
the content of one's heart.
Yeah. Once again, you being orange, I can't take you seriously with that. Okay. So one day, the lady was slicing an apple under the juniper tree when she accidentally cut herself. She looked at the blood upon the snow and said, "Ugh, I would just be so happy to one day have a child as white as this snow and as red as this blood." Ma'am.
What? I just wish my baby was a peppermint.
Peppermint Butler.
Peppermint Patty, come here. Where are you?
I know. After a couple seasons, her wish was granted. She looked at her brand new baby boy with so much joy in her heart. He was also white and red as she wanted, but she looked
I'm
at
just
him.
like picturing. I'm obviously not picturing a peppermint. I'm
Mhm.
picturing the most like albino baby, but with like really like noticeable veins.
Ooh,
Well,
your baby's
what
a
are you thinking?
monster. I'm picturing
White
like
and
a
red
really
baby, and you're not thinking monster?
I'm picturing a like really chunky, like Caucasian baby boy with just really ruddy cheeks.
Oh, yep, that might be it.
You keep your little veiny baby. Yuck.
I'll keep my veiny monster baby to myself.
Okay, so she looks at her new baby boy with so much joy in her heart that she faints and literally dies.
Oh my god. Okay, this is the most dramatic lady I've ever heard of.
I know.
She bleeds. I just, with every fiber of my being, want a baby that's as white and red as my blood in the snow. And then she gets one. You're so cute, I could die, and then does.
And then does. Okay. So she was buried under the juniper tree because she obviously loved being there so much.
Yeah.
The husband eventually remarried and the new wife got pregnant. She had a baby girl, and that baby was highly favored by the wife, leaving the red and white boy to be raised terribly and treated terribly by the new stepmom.
Mr. Cinderella.
Yes. One day, the little girl, Marjorie, asked her mother if she could have an apple. The mother got out the apple from a heavy trunk with a sharp edge and gave it to her daughter. Marjorie
That
asked,
seems like foreshadowing if they had to like make a point that it was heavy and pointy.
Marjorie asked if her brother could have one too. The mother said, of course he can have one. Once he comes home from school, he can go get it himself. So the little boy comes home from school and the mother tells him, hey, you can go get an apple, but you gotta go get it yourself. So she holds open the big heavy trunk for him. And as he bent over to grab an apple, she lets go of the lid and it cuts off his head and it tumbles into the apples.
Okay, crimes against children are the worst.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, keep going.
Instantly has remorse and ties.
Oh, he doesn't count. You don't get to do that.
So the mother has instant regret and ties the boy's head on with a scarf, sat him on a stool, and then like walked out of the room. Marjorie, the little girl, said that she wanted to talk to her brother. So she went up to him and I think she said like, oh, did mom give you an apple too? But the brother didn't answer at all and he was pale. So
and he was no longer red.
And so she went to the mom and was like, hey, my brother's not talking to me. You know, he's being so mean. And so I think he's sick. I think you should come look. And the mother said to her, try again to talk to him. And if he doesn't respond, box one of his ears.
Box one of his ears?
Yeah,
like,
it just means
punch?
like freaking punch him in the ear. Yeah.
Are you sure that's what they meant when they said box an ear?
Yeah, boxing, like you box someone. It's like you bop them in the head really hard.
Okay. I just am making sure that that's not like a reference that we're not understanding because this is old Germany. Like
No. This was it just means that she's going to hit his head. So Marjorie did exactly as her mom said and went up to the brother, tried talking to him. He didn't respond. So she boxed one of his ears and his head fell off.
And then let me guess, the mom is going to gaslight the girl and say, you did it. You hit him so hard in the ear that you decapitated him.
That's exactly it. Except then she also said, I guess we need to hide him and not tell anybody about this to spare the daughter from...
You did this. It's all your fault. Let's not tell daddy.
Yeah. Exactly. So... I don't think they specified on where they like put him for the time being, but the father comes back and says like, hey, where's my son? And the mother said, that guy, he went to go stay with his uncle. Didn't he tell you? And
that guy?
The father was like, no, he didn't tell me. And he would have told me, but just kind of let it go. So then Marjorie, the little girl, felt so much pain and guilt that she cried all the time. She ended up taking the little boy's bones to the juniper tree to lay the brother to rest.
Did he know? Sad. Did she know that that's where the mom was?
Mm-mm. Oh. The juniper tree started to shake and then clap, and a loud sound came out of the tree with a burning
and an eye appeared.
A loud cloud came out of the tree with a burning fire in it, and out of that fire came a small bird. The bird then went to a goldsmith's house and sang, "My mother slew her little son. My father thought me lost and gone. But pretty Marjorie pitied me and laid me under the juniper tree. And now I rove so merrily as over the hills and dales I fly. Oh, what a fine bird am I." The goldsmith heard the song, but wanted to hear it again. So he went out to the bird and said, like, "Hey, little bird, let me hear that song again." And the bird said, "You can hear it again, but I need some payment." So the goldsmith went in and grabbed a gold chain and gave it to the bird, to which the bird just put it in one of his hands. Okay?
Hands? It's a wing or like its talon?
No, his talon, his
leg?
clawed foot. Yeah,
Okay.
his little foot. Okay. The sequence of events repeated itself twice more. Once for a shoemaker who gave the little bird red shoes, which he took in his other hand, his other foot.
Is he collecting stuff to turn back into a little, I'm a real boy?
No.
Oh.
Okay. So then the third time he went to a miller who gave him a millstone.
Okay.
Do you know what a millstone is? Because I didn't.
Yeah, that's like what the donkeys like would turn. Those are big.
Yeah, they're the heavy things with like a hole in the middle.
Like two rocks that like spin.
Yeah.
And crush, yeah.
So the bird put it over his head and just like flew away with it.
This is one strong bird.
Yes, don't I know it?
Because I'm assuming the bird still had the chain and the shoes.
He did, yeah.
Getting the millstone.
And then just like put on the millstone and flew away. So the bird flew back to the father's house to sing its song. The father went outside to listen to the beautiful bird, but the father's kind of dumb because he like didn't put two and two together. He was like, "Wow, what a beautiful song."
Also, that's not a beautiful song.
Oh no,
that's like a scary, terrifying. It's not an omen because it's not predicting something, but it's like,
yeah.
Also, can we just go back? I don't know why I didn't stop you earlier. The fact that this bird is speaking and saying a creepy thing, and the first thing the goldsmith thought to do was, "Oh, wait, let me hear that again, bird." Like, not what the heck?
Well, I can't speak to them. I don't think I personally would go outside and be like, again, once more, I would be like,
I would be like, what did I just eat? Because I would have thought like someone, I mean, we're nearing Halloween. I would have assumed fentanyl got slipped into something of mine.
What are in these Mott's gummies?
What's in this beef jerky?
So the bird goes to the father's house to sing its song. The father went outside to listen to the beautiful bird, and the bird dropped the gold necklace. It went around the father's neck, and now he has this beautiful gold necklace. So he goes inside and tells the wife and Marjorie, "Look what just happened to me. This bird's singing outside, and I just got this new gold necklace." So then Marjorie went out next to hear the bird.
I wish birds would drop gold necklaces on me. The only thing that they've ever dropped on me is Dookie.
His poo. Oh, yeah. Let's come back to this. So Marjorie went out next to hear the bird, and the bird dropped the red shoes for her. And so she puts on these new red shoes. And I guess Marjorie was crying throughout the entire thing. But once she got these new shoes, her depression immediately lifted. And she was like, "Wow, I am so happy."
It's
so she goes,
surface level depression. My brother died, but these new red shoes are doing the trick.
I killed my brother. His whole head came off, but these new red shoes.
I forgot she thought she did it. Yeah. I hit my brother so hard his head fell off, but I forgot all about that when these new shoes on. New boot goofing.
So she wears the red shoes in. She's super excited. So the mother was like, "Well, shoot, then I want something." Exactly.
You're about to get something. That's for sure.
You see where this is going. She goes out there and looks at the bird and basically says like, "Give me something." And the bird drops the millstone on the mother, which crushes her. Now, where the millstone just dropped and crushed the mother, smoke and fire start pouring out from that place the mom was crushed. And when the smoke subsides, the little red and white boy was standing there, to which the father went, "Oh, good, you're back." And they all went inside and ate dinner.
"Peter, you're home." I don't know why his name's Peter. I want to know why the bird was strong enough to carry the millstone, but the millstone was heavy enough to absolutely destroy an adult woman. And also, like, what happened? But like, how was that enough to bring him back to life?
I don't know. But I also have those same questions. And also, Marjorie, I felt so sad for her. This whole time she thought she killed her brother.
I felt really sad for her until the red shoes made her happy again.
And then lost her mom. Really rough day
True.
for her.
But I mean, I don't know, because the dad didn't seem to care too much about his second wife. So
No, how quick they moved on was alarming to me. The fact that they went in and ate a full meal and they're like, well, that's that.
There's nothing we can do. And especially, it's not like she just died. A bird, which I don't know. I'm picturing it being like a very small, like sparrow. I don't know.
That's
in
what
my
I
head.
pictured too. But I'm guessing it's like more the size of a massive ostrich if it can carry
But ostriches
a
can't
millstone.
fly.
The
And then if
size
it's
of
that
a
big,
massive
I have even
ostrich.
more questions about why people aren't concerned about this.
I know.
But back to what the point, the fact that it's not just that she was crushed. She was crushed, and then a magical mist and fire like appeared where her body laid. And I mean, I know they didn't know that the little girl knew the boy died.
Yeah.
But I know the dad didn't. But then, and Marjorie didn't say anything, and just let's
Why
come
would she
inside.
need
Let's
to?
have some
She had
soup.
new shoes.
I really now she's
Haven't you ever gotten
big time.
I know. Haven't you
I've
ever
never gotten a pair of shoes that were so great that I was able to dismiss the fact that my brother, I knocked him so hard his head flew off, and then he reappeared in front of my eyes after he crushed my mom, and then was able to move on and
You're
eat
telling
dinner.
me you never got a new pair of shoes that allowed you to dismiss murder?
No, not once.
That's never happened for you.
I can't say it wouldn't, but no, I'm just kidding. I do really want a new pair of Hokas for Christmas, so we'll see.
So that's that on the Brothers Grimm. Those are their, some people say, 3 scariest stories.
Oh geez, if those are the scariest,
I know they're more unsettling, but I genuinely think that you could really create like a good horror movie off that premise, off those
absolutely.
premises.
Yeah, you could. I mean, in the same way that Disney made all these more kid friendly, you could take these concepts and make them freakier.
Yeah, for sure.
Like again, you can take a page out of my head and make it the veiny monster baby. That's pretty creepy. And I mean, you could also make the scene of the little girl like hitting the head so hard it falls off hitting the head. Then I mean, he's already decapitated, but you know what I mean. Like make that scene pretty creepy.
Yeah,
but I'm sure you can make this one was my favorite. Mostly because there's elements. I mean, it didn't freak me out, but like there's elements like that could be I could see being creepy, but it also was just so outlandish. Like the first one was pretty out there too, but this one took the cake. It
truly was the weight of the millstone and the bird for me that I was like,
that's where that got me too. And just how dramatic the first mom was. I loved it.
I think my jaw dropped because this was actually the first story that I read in preparation for this podcast.
Okay.
And I think my jaw dropped when it said like, and then she closed the lid and the head fell off, or like it cut the boy's head off. And I was like, that is so aggressive.
I forgot about the fact that she killed her stepson.
Yeah. And then had instant remorse and tied it back on with a scarf, which made me
instant remorse is what gets me. Like, unless she has like split personality, no. Like this was also like you can't tell me this wasn't premeditated by the fact that the mom said, "Oh yeah, he can get his own when he comes home from school."
That's true. That's true. Good point.
So, and you're not allowed to have remorse after that.
I know.
That's not how this works.
Well, that's the Brother Grimm stories, and that is our spooky, spectacular special Halloween.
Spooky, spectacular special Halloween.
A lot of words in together. Hoped for the best.
A lot of Halloween buzzwords. This was fun. I love talking about like books and the ACOTAR series, but it's fun hearing. I mean, this is like the origin story, if you will, for like a lot of books that have inspired other books, i.e., Beauty and the Beast, and somewhat a little bit inspired ACOTAR.
Yeah.
Like, so it's fun. I know this isn't the same thing, but it's like we're getting down to the Latin roots of all books.
I'd say it's the same. That's a really good analogy, actually.
Maybe.
Yes. The Brothers Grimm fairy tales, they absolutely inspired a lot of the more modern day fairy tales, and then what became twists of that for all of our favorite fantasy books and different themes. So
I don't know why, but I picture the
humble
brothers
beginnings.
I pictured the Grimm brothers looking like those kind of old-timey cartoons out on most like barber like shop, or like a barbershop quartet, kind of like, I don't know.
I kind of picture them looking like you a little right now.
No, a lot more well kept than I. They have brown, like wavy, shorter hair. Both have monocles and like not handlebar mustaches, but like the mustaches that curl with mustache wax. That's what they look like to me.
Yeah. I would say, probably the same. I think I saw a picture while I was looking up stuff about them, and I'm looking right now. You are dead on.
Am I really?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So good job.
No, I'm not. I just looked up a picture of them too. They do not have monocles.
This one they have a picture of them in glasses, and it looks like they're very circle glasses. Are you looking at the actual pictures of them, or are you looking at?
We'll have a picture up here, but like they look like presidents to me in these pictures.
Huh. They have a movie
Like,
up there, and it looks
they
like
could be
Matt
George
Damon and Heath
Washington's.
Ledger. Wow. I love both those people. All right, I'll have to watch that.
Oh yeah, me too. Oh, R.I.P. Heath Ledger.
I know. He's one of my favorites. All right, so that is it for this podcast. You want to do all the like and subscribe things?
Sure, yeah. Like, subscribe. This was out of our element. This is, unfortunately, I will not be wearing the eyebrows and the mustache moving forward. But yeah, like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, YouTube, that's what it's called. Follow us,
Yep.
subscribe there. We have a TikTok. I'm not super great about it, so follow us if you want, but don't worry about that one.
That one's okay if you don't.
Please leave us a review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. That helps us a lot, and we want to share this with people. We want to turn this into like a thing where we could have at one point like an online, like active forum, like a real live digital book club. So
yeah,
this gets us there.
That's the dream.
So do it. I'm just kidding. But if you do leave a review, don't say anything about how I look today.
Or only say something about how she looks today. All right. Have a great week, everyone.
Bye. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.